There we are. So good evening. It's a little dark in here, but we're here. So good evening. Welcome. This is Spiritual Wisdom with Dr. Thomas. Um, Thank you for watching, whether you're live or on the replay. But tonight I'm just coming in a little impromptu because I wasn't planning on channeling. Tonight we're coming in a little bit impromptu, but it's a message. It's something of importance. Something that we often don't think about. And we often don't take the time to actually think about it because we often just do it. In this life, in all of our lives, there is one thing that we can control. One. And I've had this debate, and no one has ever given me another thing that you can control. See, I'm in the mix of channeling or not. But there's one, and that is how you react to anything. All other things in this world have other variables to control what actually happens. A lot of times it's just someone else's free choice, someone else's actions, someone else's thoughts. That is what can control, or at least partially influence what happens. But the one thing in this world that you can control is how you react to anything. And that in and of itself will dictate what happens next for you. So let me give you an example. Let me give you a story. And yes, this is real. It happened today. So today I had a different type of thing for my job. I had to go off and go to a couple of appointments that were not at the office, but somewhere else. So I'm driving there. And as I'm driving, I'm coming up to just a T intersection. I had the straight, not the intersection. But from the intersection, I can see and hear the sirens of a ambulance. So as I'm seeing that, it's getting closer. I'm getting closer. I pull over to the side of the road, as you should. So the ambulance, I know, has to turn left or right, either towards me or go with me. And so I stop. But the car behind me doesn't pay attention, doesn't stop. It swerves to the left, passes me, and passes the intersection right before the ambulance gets there. Then it sees the ambulance and pulls over to the side. No big deal. Everything's fine. About 10 minutes later, I'm driving. And as I'm driving on the road, I can see there's a couple kids waiting at the end of the driveway for the school bus to come. And as I'm going from a little farther down, I can see the school bus is approaching. And I can see the kids are halfway between me and the school bus. So it starts flashing its lights. And appropriately, I start slowing down. That's what I'm supposed to do. And I see where the kids are, so I know where to stop. So I stop, and the bus stops where it's supposed to pick up the kids. And about when the kids are getting on the bus, the person driving behind me closes her eyes as she's tired. And what wakes her up is crashing into the back of me. Now I jerk forward. No one is hurt, thankfully. But I jerk forward a little bit. And I look up in the rearview mirror, and clearly I know I gotten hit. and I can see that she's okay. And I see that she drives and pulls her car over to the side of the road, and so I do the same. And so I'm sitting there, and I pick up my phone, which is next to me on the seat, and I dial 911. And I'm talking to them, and I'm saying, "How you doing?" I'm well, just hit from behind. I stopped for a school bus, and the lady behind me didn't stop, and she hit me. And that way, they knew where I was. I tried to figure out exactly where I was, like so they can come and see. Like no one looks hurt. In fact, at that point, I looked in my mirror, and I saw the lady again out of the car, and she was walking towards me. And I lower my window. The phone's on speakerphone, and she starts saying, "Oh my goodness, are you okay? I am so sorry. I must have dozed off for a second." And starts explaining to me what happened. And eventually, I hang up with 911, and I tell her, we really should get out of the road. Let's just get out of the car and go to the other side, on the side of the road on the grass, where you're kind of protected and everything's good. And we spent the next 10, 20 minutes waiting for the sheriff's department to show up. We ended up talking and just sharing some stories about life. And throughout the whole time, she must have 5 or 6 times said to me, "Oh my goodness, thank you so much for being understanding. Thank you so much for your attitude with this." That is the choice we have. That is the only thing we can control in that whole situation. How we're going to react to anything is so important. If you've been in an accident, how do you react? If you've had something bad happen to you, how do you react? Now, I was on my way to appointments. I had things planned for that day. And as I was on the side of the road, I had my phone out now, and I'm texting my boss, telling her what happened. Um, and then I'm emailing the people I'm supposed to see and saying to them, "Hey, by the way, I was just rear-ended. I'm not going to probably show up," uh, and stuff like that. And as I'm doing this, probably one of the first things that happened was my boss replied saying, "Oh my goodness, I hope you're okay." And then the next message I got was, "I just spoke with our boss, the VP. Oh, don't come into work. Don't continue your appointments. Go home, go to doctor, get checked out, take the day." And if I didn't get that message, when the sheriff's officer left, I would have gone back to where I was supposed to go and finish the day at work. But it comes back to, again, how I reacted. What has been taught, what has been said, what has been known is the great masters of this world. There are aspects that they have. The first one is peace at all times. Now, it's not the way, that's the way I say it. Way it was taught and is taught is peace. You find peace in times of trauma, in times of trouble. I teach it and I preach it. Peace at all times. That takes you to what happens next. So first and foremost, like everything happens. Thankfully, everyone is healthy and happy and fine with it. But I knew, I needed something, just an adjustment or whatever. I felt like that, and so I called a couple chiropractors and end up finding one that could see me right away and everything seemed good. And I walk in there. And it was funny because I pulled in. I was on the speakerphone with him. I pull in as he's saying, "Well, you can come in, fill out this paperwork." I'm like, "I'm actually here right now." And I walk in, and it was a great conversation. It was easy. It was fun. And I go through everything. And as I'm going there, I'm realizing for the past weeks, I've been telling myself I needed some type of massage because my back was like felt very heavy and tense in the neck and in the shoulders. But I wasn't taking the time for myself to do that. And when it came to the adjustment, I don't call it an adjustment. Yes, it was an adjustment, but it was like a deep tissue massage, which is exactly what I needed on my neck, on my upper shoulders. And when I was all done, I felt light as can be. Like a weight was lifted off my shoulder. Throughout the rest of the day, I actually did things that I'd been meaning to do, but putting off for weeks upon weeks. And they just came. It just was easy. It was natural. Now, don't get me wrong. While I can drive my car, I don't dare open up my trunk because I don't think I'd be able to close it if I was even able to open it at this point. It needs to get fixed. It needs to go into the shop. There are many different ways to have taken the situation. But if you take it in the opposite direction, with anger, with why me, do you realize what you're putting out there? You're putting out there, why me? You're asking that question. You're putting out that anger, putting out that frustration, putting out that negativity. And what that is doing is saying, oh, I want to know more about why me. Show me more of this again. But when you are able to take that moment, and many of us need to take that moment first to think, I was just in an accident. I'm okay. They're okay. How am I going to choose to move forward with this? Am I going to get frantic and worried and upset? And let that be the rest of my day where I'm worrying about something that already happened. Now I'm upset and causing more frantic in my life. Or I'm going to stay at peace. Accept that which happened. And choose how I'm going to react to it. React to it how I want to react to it. In a way that is healthy for me. In a way that is beneficial to me. In a way where I can move forward in the best way possible. That's what we need to do with everything in our lives. And trust me, it is not easy. I have kids. Rest my case. No matter how hard and how peaceful you want to be, your kids know how to push your buttons. And it takes practice and time. As Cryan said tonight, because strange enough, the same talk he gave, I was going to give. All right? And this has happened multiple times with me. As Cryan said tonight, those buttons are on our chest, they're on our heart, they're here. When they're pushed, can we take that moment to think before we react? Becoming a master, the masters, who are the masters? The masters, like Jesus, Buddha, all throughout the world. Different religions have different masters and multiple masters. The masters, one, found peace in times of turmoil. Two, second aspect of them is to observe and then act with compassion. That's the second part of this that we can control. We can control finding that peace. We can control how we act and when acting with compassion. If we just become the observer first instead of the reactor. Because when we react like this, we don't act with compassion without training and training. In all situations, we can do this. The beauty is we've opened up to this type of energy. The beauty which you don't understand yet, my people. See, they're coming in and out now. They just the beauty of this world, the beauty of the time that we are in right now, the beauty of where we are stepping into, thanks to the love that you have, thanks to the love that you've created. The beauty of all of this. You are a master. You just haven't realized it yet. Many watching this know and believe in Jesus. Many of you pray to him. As he said, those that come after him will be more powerful once they realize who they are. And the power isn't a hold over others, the ability to do these things where they can control others is not that type of power. It's the ability, wisdom, compassion, and love to be a master. As we shared in the other day, to increase our wisdom, frequency, vibration, use of our brain, use of our human body, more than just the 6%. We've entered the stage where we can. Okay. You are beautiful. You are loved. We shine truth and light to you. Be your amazing self always. Think, control, and decide and choose how to react. And your choice will bring forth the next things that will come to you in ways that you would never imagine. And in most cases, how you need them to come forward, especially when you act instead of reacting. You act in peace and in love. Guys, thank you for watching. Nyla and Wanda, thank you for your comments there and saying hello. Feel free to say hello if you're on the replay. Feel free to share this off if you think it's a good message for people to see. It's always when the timing is right and the person is ready to hear and see. That is when you get it. I know, right? I'm going in and out here. But I thank you. Wonderful evening to you all, and good night.